Background. Acting up.
Hello?
Hello, Sydney. Remember me?
What do you want?
Don't you know history repeats itself?
Hi, I'm Jerry O'Connell, and welcome to the making of Scream 2. When Wes Craven's original horror masterpiece, Scream, blazed into theaters in 1996, no one really paid much attention at first, but before long, word of mouth turned Scream into one of the highest-grossing horror movies of all time.
Hello?
Hello. Like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
Like everyone else, I flocked to see Scream, and from that moment, I was hooked. Scream successfully, perhaps more than any other film before it, cleverly combined edge-of-your-seat, nail-biting horror with ingenious fits of nervous laughter.
I'll be right back.
Now, you top that all off with a non-stop barrage of intricate plot twists and turns. You've got the perfect combination for a non-stop chill ride.
Not scared, are you?
I think the talk around the water cooler or at the lunch table at school was, you've got to see this. It was like nothing I've ever seen before.
I think it totally brought back suspense movies and movies that scare you.
Because this is more psychological, it's more about the psyche and about relationships and about trust.
What are you doing here?
I was worried about you. I heard about what happened and I was on the next plane.
It allowed us to be considered an A movie.
Well, it definitely pumped new life into it, and I think rightfully so. I mean, it showed that it's possible to make a film in the genre that's fascinating, and entertaining, and funny, and you know, takes a look at our society and also scares the pants out of it.
There was a lot of enthusiasm because the first film did so well.
Okay, let's get down to business. The way I see it, someone's out to make a sequel. You know, cash in on all the movie murder hoopla.
You have to be pretty down with your horror trivia to really get a lot of the jokes in this, and Scream 2 really plays on that when they, you know, analyze horror sequels to catch a copycat killer.
So it's our job to observe the rules. Number one, the body count is always bigger. Number two, death scenes are always much more elaborate. More blood, more gore. Carnage, candy.
There is within Scream 2 a movie that has been made based on the events of Scream 1. It also is a series of killings that are being done in a sense as a sort of oddly put sequel version of the original killings.
Tell us about this part you're getting rave reviews for.
Well, I play this young girl, Sydney Prescott, who discovers that her boyfriend's this crazy serial killer.
I was a little apprehensive about doing a sequel.
And that's a middle story in the trilogy, actually.
People are always much quicker to bash a sequel because, I mean, the very reason that one is being made is because the first film or the original was so good. So you have a lot more demands on you.
Being a second film about, you know, following a very popular first film, we were certainly acutely aware of certain misconceptions or preconceptions about sequels. It's a very tricky balance because, you know, on one hand you are making fun of, you know, not just ridiculing, but certainly you are talking about the type of film that you're in the process of making and showing to the audience. So you want to do that in a way that is recognizable.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Showgirls.
What I wanted very much is to kind of establish that the film that we're making, that is this large three-part film, is part of a genre that is part of a theater that is very, very old. There's a lot of blood and very primal drama in a lot of theater, so a lot of Scream 2 takes place around drama and around stages.
It was a lot of fun for me to play out a scene within a film. You know, it's a Greek tragedy, and I was playing Cassandra, and it was nice for me to put on a costume and be doing a little more of the classical acting for a little while.
Movies within a movie. Actors talking about their characters within the movie that the real actors are playing. Does that sound confusing? Trust me, that's all part of the plan. Director Wes Craven and writer Kevin Williamson have crafted a horrifying, funny film that is full of surprises.
Can't wait to see the movie.
The movie picks up 2 years after the original Scream. We'll bring you up to date with the survivors of the Woodsboro murders and fill you in on what new horrors await them when the making of Scream 2 returns.
killer's trying to finish what was started.
Scream 2 picks up 2 years after the horrifying events of the first Scream. Sidney Prescott, played by Neve Campbell, has moved away to college to try and put the past behind her. As far as the plot goes, well, that's all you're gonna get from me, or anyone else involved with the film for that matter. I will tell you, though, that I am lucky enough, or unlucky, depending on how you look at it, to play Neve Campbell's new boyfriend, Derek. Come on, get your jacket. Let's get you home. Yeah. He's got a tough job because Sidney Prescott, that's the character Neve plays, her last boyfriend was not a very nice guy.
So, this me.
In the second one, she thinks she's pretty much got the right guy, or does she?
Don't you know history repeats itself?
It was really nice to see the original cast back, the ones that I didn't kill.
She went through a lot in the original Scream.
It's very easy in this genre to play the victim if you're getting chased, if you're getting stalked. But I really didn't want to play that. I wanted her to be stronger. Someone who's gone through this much trauma, they're either going to be suicidal or in an insane asylum, or they're going to have to make the other choice, which is to be stronger and to be a fighter and to move on in their lives.
They kept all the same cast members and that survived.
Hi, Gail Weathers, author of the Woodsboro Murders.
She's now a producer. So before she was just a reporter, and she had written a book, a really kind of probably bad book.
I should have read your book before I took this job, but I'm reading it now, and woo!
Now she's written a bad book and made another bad book and made a movie out of it. So she's really hoping for a big box office weekend when she finds out there's been a murder in the college town where it opens.
Why would you want to be here when the killer strikes again?
I've become more sophisticated. Now I have money, so I'm like a little bitchier because now I think I'm really cool.
He wasn't gutted. He made that up. His throat was slashed.
Yo, gutted, slashed, the guy ain't in the union no more.
They seldom do that in sequels, like incorporate the same people that made the other.
Jamie Kennedy's back, who's hysterical. I mean, he's such a blast to work with and such a blast to watch on screen.
I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
It's him. He can see us.
Do you want to die tonight?
Well, if Wes was a part of it, and Courtney and Neve, and it was sort of the whole same thing, Jamie, I would pretty much do anything to do another Scream.
Oh, Dewey, don't take it so seriously. It's a character in a book.
Page 41. Deputy Dewey oozed with inexperience.
David Arquette, hysterically funny guy, and even, even more hysterical on film. His character of Dewey is priceless.
Dewey, I never meant to imply
How do you know that my dim-witted inexperience isn't merely a subtle form of manipulation used to lower people's expectations, thereby enhancing my ability to effectively maneuver within any given situation? He's sort of a misfit. He never really saves the day, but he sure tries. He's got a big heart. I'm sorry. I'm on duty.
It's a perfect relationship because he admires her for her strength and, her guts.
The success of the original Scream and the buzz created by the announcement of a sequel not only ensured that the original surviving cast will be back, but also had virtually all of young Hollywood clamoring for even the smallest roles.
It's nice every once in a while to do a smaller role because the pressure's off. There's so much pressure on me on a day-to-day basis doing Buffy. It was nice to sort of feel like, great, I'm part of the cast. There's not this immense pressure. I can have fun. I can play.
There you go. Is Cece there?
Mm-hmm.
It's Ted.
It's your ill-conceived boyfriend. Okay, so I'll see you later, and don't forget to set the alarm. Bye.
Hello, Ted.
Don't forget to set the alarm.
After I got offered the second Scream, I watched the first Scream and really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I was very impressed with the writing and just the whole wit behind it, the whole brain behind it.
I hate scary movies. Sandra Bullock is playing right down the street.
Nobody want to pay $7.50 to see some Sandra Bullock? That she naked.
Oh, but you will sit through a movie called Stab.
She's a young college student who is not a big fan of horror movies because she thinks that the horror genre has completely overlooked and ignored the African element.
Hi, here you go.
What's this?
Stab souvenirs. The studio sent them. And it's white.
Really, the bottom line is that she's scared out of her mind and she just doesn't want to admit it.
I'm calling from the Omega Beta Zeta house. Someone's harassing me. I enjoyed the first one so much and had thought such wonderful things about it, and I love the horror genre, and I love the comedy, and I love Kevin's writing, and I really would love to work with Wes, that I signed on without reading it, which is something I've never done.
In some cases, it was, you know, kids that had grown up in my films and kind of wanted to be in one of my films. But I think most of all is that Scream 1 was such an extraordinary film, and Scream 2 promised to be equally as stunning. It's nice when it's nice.
People just like to get the crap scared out of them. It's as simple as that.
It's an adrenaline rush. It's an endorphin. It's the same reason people jump out of airplanes and race cars. It's death-defying, only this is without the actual impending threat of death.
I think it didn't take the audience for granted, sort of let them in on the joke, and they really like that about it. They like being part of it, and we like them being part of it. It's funner when they're interactive and screaming at the screen.
I think I could speak for everyone when I say that working with Wes Craven on Scream 2 was a phenomenal, awesome experience. When we return, we'll learn more about Wes and the creative team behind Scream 2. What scares you most? The dark, the proverbial boogeyman lurking behind the curtain? What scares movie audiences most is Wes Craven, hiding just behind the camera. Craven, who studied philosophy and actually has a PhD in it, believes in the genre he reinvented.
I think in general we go around with a certain amount of residual fear. I think since the dawn of time, a good scary story has been a way of kind of venting those fears.
Okay, cut. Good. Cut.
That was very nice.
Wes was a dream. He was so laid back, so easygoing. Anything I wanted to do, he was like, listen, this is my goal. As long as you get there, do whatever you want.
So when he stands up to soak in the applause is when you should cut it. But when he comes back down...
Wait, let him soak up the applause, and then when he's about to be done, cut it, and you drop down, then I'll do the line.
When you see him jump down, you cut it.
I'll cut it.
What he does. So when he's coming down, you know he's going to do something.
So you're going to soak in the applause when you're finished singing first. Because that's right, that's what he did. He grabbed her hand and he raises them up.
I'd work for him again in a second. I'd get coffee for him on his next gig.
Wes, I'm such a huge fan of his. He's such a great director.
Wes is wonderful. He's just an incredible being. He's very balanced and very serene and very loving and an incredible director.
He's really creative. He really, he's got a strong opinion, but he also gives you freedom. And he's funny.
There's nobody really here that's not, you know, trying to be liked. Do you know what I'm saying? But we do need them.
Okay, that line's just trying to get around the line of they never leave you alone and give some reason for him to... so if we can think of another line or...
I don't have a line after that. I'm done.
No,
he goes straight into his.
Wes, being a teacher, having been a professor, really has a lot of knowledge about how to work with people and how to teach.
I work very quietly. You can't see what I'm doing.
Now, Wes was not the only one keeping quiet. Our virtual gag order kept all of us from revealing anything about the plot, and scripts were printed on brown paper, so they were almost impossible to copy or even to read.
Top secret.
You do not want to reveal whether you are the killer or not. You have to be as hush-hush about that as possible, or else everybody behind the film and Wes himself, they'll go cuckoo if you give away the ending.
It's pretty hard, especially for a big platinum nut like myself. So, but I did a good job. I only told about 4 or 5 people.
It was so difficult to get the script. Armed guards bring it to your house. They stand over you as you read it.
It was cute because we did a photo shoot with Tori Spelling the other day, and she said to me, hey, can I ask you a question? And I said, she goes, do you live or die? And I said, didn't you read the script? And she said, no, they only gave me my pages. So it was only the main core cast that got the whole script. Everyone else only got their individual scenes.
Wes Craven had just 52 days to shoot his second Scream. Key players, Courtney Cox, Neve Campbell, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and myself were all on limited summer hiatus from our TV shows. Our director, Wes Craven, had to make the gothic-looking Agnes Scott College in Georgia look spooky even in the middle of a sticky, hot afternoon.
It's very hot here in Georgia. We don't care.
Helping to take the heat off, humor. So important to the script and infectious on the set.
there for enhancing my ability to maneuver.
Worst scene I ever done.
There was a lot of joking around, just a lot of fun.
The humor and horror are both about relieving tension, you know, that's caused by fears. If you think about the subject of most jokes, it's about things that make us profoundly uneasy in any other context.
It doesn't take itself too seriously. It sort of has fun with the whole concept and knows it's just a movie and lets you know it's just a movie, but the fine director that Wes is, he sort of aligns it so there's an element of realism going on through this sarcasm.
Is that the best you can do? Why not set your goals higher, huh? You want to be one of the big boys? Manson, Bundy, OJ?
I think Wes is naturally a very funny guy. A lot of people think of him as this horror guru, voodoo witch doctor, but he's really, you know, a pleasant, hysterically funny dude.
You inspire me, sir.
It's called Make It Nice with the Director.
Well, I think that when you're laughing and you're on the edge, you're like, that emotion's really heightened, and all of a sudden you scream. There's not a better mix in the world.
I think what's so wonderful about that is there's such extreme emotions. You know, you go from the heightened fear to the heightened laughter, and you ride a roller coaster throughout the film along with the characters.
Now, it was no secret that the script was one of the hottest in Hollywood. Word soon leaked out that screenwriter Kevin Williamson had outdone himself, and believe you me, he did.
Acting up.
I only have so much time for my hiatus, and I started reading scripts to try and choose a role, and there are a lot of bad scripts out there, and I picked this one up and couldn't put it down, and I finished it, and that said to me that an audience would probably stick around too. You'll get an adrenaline rush, you'll live with and through the characters.
Why would you want to be here when the killer strikes again? This is a big chance for you. Don't you want to be a part of that?
Kevin Williamson has really stepped it up in the script. When they were high school students analyzing horror films to get a killer, they're now film students, and you know, there's a copycat killer.
You three look deep in thought.
It's him.
The killer or killers in any one of these two films is not some mythological creature. It is, you know, it's the kid next door, it's the boyfriend, it's the mother, it's somebody that you know very well.
He didn't do anything.
You're such a little lapdog. He's got killer printed all over his forehead.
How do we find the killer, Randy? That's what I want to know.
Well, let's look at the suspects.
All these people are serious suspects, and that's what makes it such a great thriller.
So until you find me standing over a dead body with a knife in my hand, I think you better treat me with the rights and privileges accorded to every innocent citizen in this country.
Wes Craven keeps us guessing when it comes to the killer's identity. Now, you guys as the audience are not alone in being afraid. When we come back, we'll tell you how the Scream stars got spooked and the behind-the-scenes comedy of a horror fest in the making. Why do we go back up the stairs, back into the theater, back to the set for another horror film?
What's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door.
In the case of Scream 2, everyone involved was only too glad to run back.
It's happening again, isn't it?
You'd love that, wouldn't you?
And the nomination for hysterically awesome and wickedly funny cool dude on set goes to David Arquette.
You guys shooting a movie? What movie is it? Is it gonna be good?
The easiest to spook, Buffy the Vampire Slayer star Sarah Michelle Gellar.
It's so funny because she's this tough Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then you put her in front of these films and she can't take it.
They used to call me and they used to say, "What's your favorite scary movie?" And I would start crying. I was such a baby when it comes to this kind of stuff. Hey! Jesus, Donna, you scared me. Well, I mean, the main difference about Buffy is she's this sort of superhero. She can handle herself in any situation. And Cece is your normal sorority girl, not used to being put in any situations involving a bad man with a knife.
One thing none of us are scared about is disappointing the audience. Everyone involved believes Scream 2 is even better than the original.
I think this one's a little more complex, and I think it's scarier, and I think it's funnier. I mean, it makes you want to scream out loud. They're in for a roller coaster ride for an hour and a half, and they will leave so excited. You literally kind of run out of the theater and then you just drop down.
They can expect, in my opinion, a better movie than the first one, which at first I didn't know if it was possible. I mean, I knew the script was good, but I didn't realize how good until we saw it all cut together.
I think they can expect that they'll definitely be living through the characters and that they will be terrified and that they will laugh with the characters and that they will not know what the ending is. They will have no clue.
They're in for a fun ride. They're in for a freaky ride, you know, and mostly what they're in for is a shocking ending, you know. I mean, it really is a crazy, crazy ending.
A lot of entertainment, a lot of laughter, and some real scares.
No, let's see some blood and guts.
Oh, you gotta see it. I swear, it's sick crazy.
The killer's trying to finish what was started.
Not everyone is going to come out of this alive. Death is always deadlier the second time around. What starts with hello.
Hello?
Man with the scream. We'll be around for Scream 3. I ain't talking.